American Oil Company, and the thousands of Amoco dealers who sell clear, white, unleaded Amoco gas, the only high-octane premium gasoline that's all gas, presents Football Forecasts with Frank Leahy. And here he is, America's foremost football authority, who led Boston College and Notre Dame to victory for 13 years, and now leads the nation in predicting the winners, Frank Leahy.
Thank you, Paul, very much for those kind words. You know, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that it's a great deal easier to predict the winners in football games than it is to coach a winning team each Saturday. Some people just expect every coach to win all the time, and, you know, that's an impossibility. Before we talk about the outcome of next week's games, Paul, let's hear just a few words from our wonderful sponsor, the American Oil Company, maker of Amoco Premium Gasoline.
Which gasoline should you choose? Which one gives you most value for your motoring dollars? Which gives you greatest engine protection? Well, let's look at the facts. Only clear white Amoco gas is all gas, untainted by lead, untinted by color, undiluted by additives. That's why premium Amoco gas guarantees you more gas per gallon. More gas means Amoco gas gives you more mileage, highest natural octane, smoothest and most natural power. You save on engine repairs, too, for as you've seen, there's no lead in clear white Amoco gas to foul vital engine parts, no lead to hasten muffler wear, no color to stain carburetors. So stop paying for gasoline you don't get. Get more gas per gallon. Get greatest engine protection. So get
Amoco gas. Beep, beep. Well, Coach, how do you think the present season is going to shape up?
Well, Paul, I'm sure that this year is destined to be another great year for intercollegiate football, just as it has been in the past. Be fewer tie scores, however, due to the new ruling after a team has scored a touchdown. And on this week's Pigskin Pointers, we'll explain just exactly how the new rule operates. And before discussing football anymore, may I give you an opportunity to take a look at my thoughts as regards this week's games?
Right, Frank. Thank you. And fumble for the fourth consecutive season. Let's get off the bench and go to work. Our first game is the UCLA Pittsburgh game. Here's the late coach Red Sanders. His untimely death will undoubtedly affect the fortunes of the UCLA Bruins. But with their great passing combination of Don Long to All-American end Dick Wallen, shown here making a sensational one-handed catch against Illinois last year, the Bruins will still be in contention for the championship of the waning Pacific Coast Conference. The UCLans have tremendous reserve strength in the tailback position. And this may be used to wear down Pittsburgh, shown here demonstrating how to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes. This man missed his assignment and thus gave the Panthers a touchdown. The Pitt end blocks the kick because he was not taken out of the play. Winning ball clubs must know how to take advantage of opponents' mistakes.
If the half-season seniors play for UCLA, it certainly looks to me like they're going to come out on top against the University of Pittsburgh. So, UCLA over Pittsburgh.
With new coach Jack Mitchell taking over the helm at Kansas, the Jayhawks, shown here on offense, are a question mark. It's expected that they'll have the best set of backs since 1952, and with 24 lettermen returning, you can count on them to pull a few upsets. TCU has smart quarterbacks. This opposing tackle consistently anticipates a play over center, and so the fullback carries and the halfback leads interference through the hole left open by that defensive tackle when he crashes out of position. This kind of heads-up quarterbacking goes unnoticed by the fans. What's your prediction on this one, Coach?
Texas Christian University's powerful attack certainly ought to be a little too much for Kansas to handle. TCU will be the victor.
Here's action sequences in last year's Kentucky-Georgia Tech battle. This slow-motion shot shows Georgia Tech's Stan Flowers passing, but Kentucky's Cliff Tribble was one step ahead of the receiver as he stops the Tech attack with a timely interception. The Wildcats this year will have an abundance of youth. 60% of the players are sophomores. If this potential talent can mature fast enough, the Wildcats could cause trouble as the season progresses. The Tech Yellow Jackets, on the other hand, should be in a better position with 25 lettermen returning from last year's predominantly sophomore team. Here, their #1 quarterback, Fred Brazelton, finds a teammate in the open and hits him with a touchdown pass.
Kentucky this year will not have the services of their great All-American tackle, Lou Michaels. I picked Georgia Tech over Kentucky.
Nebraska, in white, although lacking in experience, should make a partial comeback from their poor season of last year. With only 5 seniors on the squad, it appears the Cornhuskers are still a year away from hitting their top stride. Penn State backs have learned one lesson well: how to keep cool under adverse circumstances. Here, Richie Lucas appears to be trapped, but with his receivers covered, he quickly decides to run instead of pass. Now watch the blocking. 1, 2 men out of the way. This is an unrehearsed play, but the Nittany Lions are able to take advantage of the situation by keeping their wits and never giving up. Here in slow motion is another example. Eddie Kay takes a handoff, only to get hit immediately. Since the whistle hasn't blown, he's twisting and looking for someone to throw to at the same time. Result, 6 points instead of a 3-yard loss. That's playing it calm, cool, and they collected.
Nebraska is going to have a lot of sophomores on the first team. Therefore, I picked Penn State over Nebraska.
The winner of the Atlantic Coast Conference crown, North Carolina State, shown here in white, will be without the services of that great halfback Dick Christie, who scored more than half the points made by the Wolfpack all season last year. After making yards on an end around, he's called upon to be on the receiving end of this pass. He's got it and eludes 2 would-be tacklers to score. On the other hand, the Tar Heels of North Carolina appear to have their best team since the days of Charlie Justice some 9 years ago. Toward the end of last year, the Tar Heels seem to hit their stride. You can count on them taking to the air often this year. Here we see junior quarterback Jack Cummings demonstrating his throwing ability. After completing a pass to end Max Turlington, he spots another receiver open and strike.
You know, the real smart quarterbacks down south tell me that Coach Tatum of North Carolina has a great quarterback coming along. Therefore, string along with North Carolina over North Carolina State.
Now, a motor oil. Yes, a motor oil that saves you gas. Yes, saves you gas. It's Amoco Super Permalube Motor Oil. It can save you up to 2 gallons of gasoline per tank full. Here's why. All-weather Super Permalube is refined to super strength for super tough lubricleaning. Thus, Super Permalube holds its body, cuts friction drag, even under the most extreme engine pressures. Your engine uses less gas to deliver original power and gets best protection against grit, sludge, and carbon deposits. And because Super Permalube is an all-weather motor oil, it gives super lubrication, whether your engine is stop-and-go cold or highway hot. Yes, Super Permalube holds up under all driving conditions. To hold down gasoline consumption, change to Super Permalube motor oil at your Amoco service station. Save up to 2 gallons of gasoline per tank full.
The rule change after touchdown is going to prove extremely interesting to the football fans, I'm sure. And for your information, and briefly, this is what it amounts to. Beginning the fall of 1958, when a team scores a touchdown, they have an option of trying for a field goal, which will give them 1 point, or they have an option of running the ball across the goal line from the 2-yard line, which will give them 2 points, or passing. And if the pass is completed across the goal line, that means 2 points. And briefly, this is what I think it will bring about. First of all, it's going to eliminate tie games to a high degree. There'll be fewer tie scores. Secondly, it's going to put just a little more pressure on the football coaches, because the one that loses, well, he should have tried for the 1 point or the 2. And last but not least, it's bound to add a lot of extra excitement for you football fans. Okay, Fumble, now it's your turn to swing into action.
Duke, shown here on the left, will have a tremendous problem creating strength in the guard and tackle positions. They have only 1 first stringer for these spots and very little experience among the reserves. However, the Blue Devils boast one of the finest backfield aggregates in the country, led by All-American candidate Ray Carlton, pictured here scoring a touchdown.
The Duke backfield, according to all the early season statistics, should be great. Therefore, I picked Duke to beat South Carolina.
LSU in dark jerseys will be looking for a top quarterback to lead their offense. Here's a Tiger pass that's complete for yardage. No, it looks like the opposition has snagged it. Oops, they both missed it. Well, what do you know? A completion after all with an assist from the opposition. The Rice Owls on the left, who boasted the finest 1-2 quarterback punch in college football, King Hill and Frank Ryan last year, lost this powerful combination via graduation. The key position in any T formation attack is the quarterback slot. Therefore, the Owls, though not losing a quantity of players, have lost considerable in quality. Little was expected of the Owls in 1957. Their drive and determination paid off. Maybe this year will be the same for the Southwest Conference champions. Coach, what's your prediction on this game?
Looks like a real close game. My choice, Rice.
Baylor on the left, picked by many last year to finish at the top of the Southwest Conference heat, failed to win a single conference game. Their prospects are not bright this year either, with a loss of 22 out of 34 lettermen. But a word of warning at this point. The Southwest Conference is noted for the champs winding up in the cellar, and vice versa. This just might be one of those years. Their opponent, Arkansas, demonstrates the razzle-dazzle style of play often seen in Razorback games. Here's a completed pass, but the would-be tackler has a problem as the Razorback laterals the ball, putting him out of position. Arkansas, like Baylor, has a rebuilding job to do. The entire starting line and top quarterbacks George Walker and Don Christian have departed.
Even though Baylor is using a brand new formation, the multiple T, I believe that they're going to defeat the University of Arkansas.
Georgia, shown on the left, has high hopes for a successful season this year. Hopes which were bolstered by a fine spring practice. Their first opponent, Texas, demonstrates how the quarterback here plays an important role in end sweeps. After pitching back to the halfback, he makes a neat block to give the ball carrier running room. Not only does Coach Royal teach his boys to block well, but to fake with finesse. Watch this play as the quarterback here fakes to the fullback and pitches out to the halfback running wide. A good fake delays the ends just enough to allow the back time to get by. Coach Darrell Royal is now in his second season. What's your prediction on this tough one, Coach?
The Texas-Georgia game is going to be played in Austin, Texas. Therefore, I'll have to string along with... I picked Texas over Georgia. Our closing thought for this week: let thy speech be better than silence, or be silent. Thank you very much.
Frank Leahy and his football forecasts have been brought to you by the American Oil Company and the thousands of Amoco dealers who invite you to drive in and get more gas per gallon. Amoco gas, the only premium gasoline that's all gas.